the plan to get away from the dollar has been an open Chinese plan that they have written down for ages. It's not like they're coy about the whole thing. They've been writing it down. They've been shouting it from the rooftops. This was the Kenyan president.
For the people who work numbers, I am giving you free advice that those of you who are holding dollars, you surely might go into losses. You better do what you must do, because this market is going to be different in a couple of weeks.
Different in a couple weeks, Mark? What?
Yeah. Yes, the petrodollar been around since essentially the end of World War II, and we use it for all of our oil exploration. When all countries having to buy oil have to use this. We are now seeing, chiefly because it's accelerating a lot of trends, but chiefly because this invasion of Ukraine and the United States reaction with their alleged sanctions against Russia. Odd how Russia seems to be doing better and better no matter how many sanctions we impose. But Russia and India, you played that clip there. You have China involved. All of these countries are moving off the US dollar as a petrocurrency, which means our politicians will no longer be able to attempt to control inflation, printing money, debt, managing our economy, because we are no longer going to have the world's reserve currency. This was predictable. We saw it coming. And now it looks like it could be arriving. This is going to be a major economic blow to the U.S., also a strategic blow, but it's a self-inflicted blow in many ways.
Mark, can you explain what that means for me, the average American? I'm not in the government. I'm a citizen. I have a job. I have everything. Okay, we're moving off the petrodollar. This sounds like a bunch of lofty stuff that doesn't affect me at all. Why does it matter to me?
Well, this is what we use. It's the dollar that everyone uses when they have to buy energy. So this is the way the United States has propped up our dollar. So I remember I went to a UN conference. I went to Indonesia, and I was able to get lobster dinners for like $8 that would have cost $150 back at home. And the reason for that is we have a strong dollar versus all these other currencies. So by switching to the Chinese currency and Russia and India and all these other countries that are going to be leaving the US dollar, it's going to weaken our currency. We're going to end up paying more for trade. It's going to create higher inflation. It's going to create weaker economic growth. And it's going to have a huge devastating impact on our national security in terms of even our energy security. So it's actually, I wrote about this in my book, The Great Reset. And of course, I quoted the great economist Ron Paul, who warned about this and has been warning about it. The scary thing is Ron Paul's old conspiracy theories about the fall of the U.S. dollar and ergo our economy are now look like they're becoming realities.
Why is OPEC slashing production? What's all this mean?
Okay, there's a key thing. It's actually OPEC Plus that's slashing production. And I don't know if your viewers are aware, but OPEC Plus includes Russia. And that's a relatively recent development. We're not talking about just the Middle East OPEC. So this is Russia, along with OPEC, announcing these cuts in oil production. And this is going to, it's because they don't want to, because the price of oil has been dropping steadily in recent months, and they're trying to recapture it. Well, this is another consequence of harsh U.S. sanctions against Russia. They're now teamed up with the Middle East, who, by the way, Joe Biden has no problem shutting down domestic energy, shutting down Minnesota mines, North Dakota mines, and then buying stuff from Chinese mines. Same thing with U.S. oil, but then he goes to Venezuela and OPEC to beg. So they know they have us by the, you know what, and they are squeezing, and they're going to continue to squeeze. And now they have Russia on their team. Russia is laughing themselves all the way to the bank as our allegedly sanctions against them are harming. Well, now Russia's teamed up with the Middle East and OPEC oil countries, and they're punishing the West, who's been trying to punish them. So it's a game of high stakes international diplomacy on one hand, and it's, of course, the old OPEC cartel on the other. When the prices go low, they start, they reduce restrictions, increase restrictions on the supply. And it wouldn't matter if we were doing our own domestic oil production like we were just a few years ago, but it matters now.
What it's like to be energy independent. Mark, thank you, brother. I appreciate you.
Support the First TV today and get instant access to exclusive specials like Who is Ron DeSantis, The History of FBI Scandals, and America's Worst Presidents. Visit thefirsttv.com/support or download the First TV app to become a supporter and start watching today.